What you just saw was none other than the late football legend Diego Maradona, right in the middle of a coaching session, casually snorting some magic powder on the sidelines while giving tactical instructions to his players. Yes, you heard that right. Not only was he openly enjoying his flower in broad daylight, but he even had the wholehearted support of his colleagues and players who covered for him like they were part of an elite secret society. Unsurprisingly, just a few years later, this incredible football icon left us forever at the age of 60, leaving the sports world in deep mourning. Now, here's a fun twist for you. Maradona, despite being a generation younger, managed to join the afterlife even before the king of football, Pelé. But hey, this isn't just about Maradona, it's just one tiny glimpse into a bigger issue. The dangerous pitfalls that athletes and artists often fall into. And why is it that these talented individuals seem to be so vulnerable to these traps? Let's dive into today's story to find out. Athletes and artists, do you see any similarities between them? At first glance, they seem worlds apart. Athletes are celebrated for their strength and fiery passion, while artists often get the stereotype of being, well, a bit fragile, both mentally and physically. Back in the day, we'd probably call them a house of cards. But here's the kicker. These two groups are actually much more alike than you'd think. In fact, at their core, they're practically the same. Yep, both athletes and artists are essentially entertainers for society. The difference is, athletes don't wear that label as blatantly. But let's be objective here. If elite sports didn't operate under the model of catering to audience entertainment, they probably wouldn't last a month. Forget about organizing massive events like the World Cup or the Olympics, am I right? And as for artists, well, that one's a no-brainer. No further explanation needed there. Alright, so now we understand that the essence of both fields is almost identical. But is there anything else they have in common? Oh, absolutely. Both sports and the arts demand extraordinary talent and innate ability. Sure, anyone can kick a ball or sing a tune, but there's only one Cristiano Ronaldo and one Michael Jackson in the world. In almost every other profession, practice makes perfect. Train enough, and you'll master the skills. But with sports and the arts, it's a completely different story. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying your idols don't hit the field or the studio daily to hone their craft. What I'm pointing out is that making money in these fields requires a certain level of natural talent that can't be taught. How far that talent takes you? Well, that comes down to each individual's effort and how they choose to develop their abilities. But enough with the theory. Let's dive into two direct comparisons between superstars from the worlds of sports and art. Let's start with sports and take a look at Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar Jr. I'm pretty sure that even if you've never watched a single football match, you've heard of these two megastars. However, despite both starting as underdog F-listers, their careers took completely opposite paths during the final years of their time on the pitch. Both came from humble beginnings. Ronaldo grew up in a poor family of 6 on the struggling island of Madeira, while Neymar was born in a slum in São Paulo, Brazil's crime capital. But here's where their lives diverged. Ronaldo didn't receive much pampering. In fact, he even worked as a street sweeper to help his parents make ends meet. Neymar, on the other hand, despite also being poor, had a loving father who encouraged him to spend his days playing football in the streets. That small difference in their starting points set them on very different trajectories later in life. With his natural talent, Neymar was hailed as a once-in-a-generation player. Even as a child, his moves on the field left everyone in awe. Ronaldo, meanwhile, didn't attract as much attention early on. Though immensely skilled, he wasn't considered a prodigy like the Brazilian boy born in 1992. Fast forward to 2025, and the results speak for themselves. Ronaldo may be on the downhill slope of his career, but he's still living his passion. Neymar, on the other hand, has spiraled into decline, his body wrecked by countless injuries. Tragically, much of his misfortune stems from his own self-indulgent lifestyle. From the moment Neymar transferred to Barcelona with his hefty new salary, he became infamous for champagne-soaked nights and extravagant partying. Even his career decisions were influenced by his love of the high life. Feeling overshadowed by Messi's immense legacy, Neymar demanded a move. seeking a place where he could be the star. But where did he go? None other than the party capital of Europe, Paris, the city of lights. A decision motivated not just by money, but arguably by its thriving nightlife scene. In Paris, Neymar's lavish parties became legendary. The samba dancer from the Parc des Princes barely had time to rest. After training sessions, he was off to party again. Tabloid headlines frequently featured Neymar returning home at 6 or 7 a.m., often with a different companion each night, while his girlfriend patiently waited at home. Like Bruce Wayne tossing money around as if it grew on trees, Neymar spared no expense, even paying salaries to loyal friends who joined in his escapades. NBA star Draymond Green once described Neymar's parties with disbelief.
I've been to some wild bashes in the States, but Neymar's on a whole other level. The madness at his parties is completely unreal. The scene resembled a grand cult gathering, rivers of alcohol flowing endlessly, cascading over the bodies of stunning naked women who crowded together in a chaotic, hedonistic frenzy that lasted for days on end.
That's the legendary Neymar for you, the charismatic party god from Brazil. Now let's shift our focus to the arts in America. The pair in question are two rappers, one white, one black, Eminem and Sean Combs, better known as Ditty. Their lives couldn't be more different. Eminem, whose real name is Marshall Mathers, grew up in a broken family with a single mother battling severe addiction. He spent his early years living in a trailer, scraping by in poverty. His childhood in Detroit, a city infamous for its high crime rates, was marked by constant fear and anxiety. Rap music became his one solace, the lifeline that pulled him out of despair and transformed him into a living legend. But while Eminem's story began in Detroit, Ditty's took root in New York City. Ditty, by contrast, was a young black boy who grew up in relative privilege. His mother was a model and a teaching assistant at a university, while his father was an Air Force pilot. Ditty's early years were a world away from Eminem's hardships. He was even recommended as an altar boy at his local church. In essence, Ditty's life of privilege starkly contrasted with Eminem's struggles. However, this abundance bred a sense of entitlement and corruption in Ditty. It was only a matter of time before he became a music industry mogul, leaving behind a trail of real-life nightmares. From wild, cocaine-fueled parties to scandals that shocked the world, Ditty's debauchery painted a grim picture of the indulgent lives some artists lead. 4 individuals, 2 careers, and 2 drastically different paths. 2 rose above adversity to earn respect and admiration, while the other 2 self-destructed. One left broken and wasted, the other locked behind bars. But why is it that so many from these 2 industries continue to fall into ruin? The answer, at its simplest, is a lack of education. That's right, I said it, a lack of education. Of course, all 4 individuals in the examples above likely attended basic schooling. But what I'm referring to is what the elders used to say: education is the key to unlocking the world, a passport to freedom. Many athletes and artists come from disadvantaged backgrounds. Humans are inherently social beings, shaped significantly by the communities we grow up in. Who we become is often a reflection of the environments that mold us. This influence is especially evident in sports and even more so in the arts. With their demand for heightened emotional expression, both fields often attract those driven by their raw, often painful experiences. It's this yearning for a drastic life change that has, for many, led them down extreme paths. That's why over half of the members of the once legendary West Coast hip-hop group NWA have fallen. Whether through gun violence or HIV, their stories often end in tragedy. While Dr. Dre and Ice Cube remain, they've occasionally voiced their concerns about the moral decay of artists overwhelmed by wealth and fame arriving too quickly. Growing up in hardship, many artists lack the tools to nurture their souls. Their creative egos, already significant, are further inflated by adoring fans. Surrounded by beautiful women and opportunists, the path to self-destruction, like that of Eazy-E in the past or more recently of Juice WRLD, can be alarmingly quick. Not to mention that for many in these circles, creative inspiration often stems from substance abuse. And when it comes to wealthy individuals, the substances they consume are of a particularly high caliber. Stories surrounding legends like Michael Jackson and Prince continue to haunt fans who are horrified by the hidden, smoke-filled backstage realities filled with despairing screams. Lastly, the ultimate cause of the downfall in these two industries often comes from society's own enabling behavior. Yes, as strange as it sounds, it's true. Take Maradona, for example. Despite his notorious addiction to cocaine, the people of Argentina venerate him as a saint. This isn't just an exaggeration for dramatic effect, it's a documented reality. In Argentina, not only do paintings often depict Maradona as a son of God sent down to earth, but there's also a song called Santa Maradona, which translates to Saint Maradona. Even thousands of kilometers away in the beautiful Mediterranean city of Naples, people have built a shrine dedicated to this son of another hometown. Yet, to the people of Naples, he's seen as a divine messenger sent to bless the city. And Michael Jackson? He's no different. The man known for his moonwalk, regardless of what substances he used, still had fans screaming his name until they passed out during every electrifying performance. When he passed away, no matter the reason, a sea of flowers and candles gathered to bid farewell to him. If Maradona and Michael Jackson are examples on a grand scale, let's look at someone a bit closer to home. Take a look at how the entire United States still adores and longs to get a ticket to a Disney event, even though everyone kind of suspects that something's not right. Or, for example, what woman in the world could ever turn down an evening of passion with this man, even knowing she'd be treated like a street prostitute? The indulgence of their emotions comes from many factors: talent, style, contributions to society, but the most important factor is the status they've achieved, which sets them apart from the rest of society. Looking at them, you feel small, like an insignificant ant compared to these extraordinary, influential talents. And it's these obsessive idolizations that have inflated their egos, turning them into self-proclaimed gods, believing they can do anything. So what's the saddest personal story you have about the downfall of these stars? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For now, goodbye, and see you next time.